march on and see our flag on high is never felt throughout the world, for hope shall never die. We must unite for what is right, in friendship true and strong, until the earth in its rebirth shall sing our song, shall sing our song. All those who loved the true and good, whose promises were kept, with humble mind, whose acts were kind, whose honor never slept. These were the free, and we must be prepared like them to live, to give to all, both great and small, all we can give, all we can give.
Welcome to episode 200 and something of the Corie Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. We have an episode today. I know now always only hear from when it's memorial and people pass away. It's sad, you know, you only bounce up your good friends and family. When you see it's a memorial day or it's a funeral or it's a wake. It's a very Trinidadian thing. If we're talking about the culture, we had to talk about the culture in total, right? So if it's a place where we only bounce up a funeral, then I'd get back together with all you to celebrate the life of the great Mama Doreen. So if you don't know, the song is the national anthem. You could say that the international anthem of the Girl Guides, the world song, you know what I mean? So if you know about Girl Guides and that kind of thing, I have some special things to talk about in this episode. But before, I had to tell you about the last conversation I had. I don't know what to call her. To call her my aunt, my grandmother. I could tell you that just as she was a Girl Guide and the head of the Girl Guide, she was one of my guides in life. And she leave me on this earth with specific instructions as to what to do. But I want to send a message to her too, because I went to the funeral and I play music and up to now I ain't collect at all, you know what I mean? I'm following the instructions she gave me, right? But we had to send message. To sing and she repass for free, but not me. No sorry. This is, if you're new to this, right, you just get a little taste of Kaiso. The rest is your research to do. We ain't have time to play Kaiso. I mean, sometimes we do, but today we don't, you know what I mean? So, lots of the family, a real matriarch of the family passed away, Mama Doreen, salute to her, and the family, salute to the Sampson family and all the other names associated with Mama Doreen. You know, and going to this funeral, I started on a somber note, we come to celebrate life. I realized something, right? And it struck me as important. And I will get to the specific instructions she leave for me. directly about the podcast too. This is a woman who is 90 plenty and lucid and direct. As you know, people who don't mince words. We need more people like that in society. But if I wasn't sure about that, and if I ever needed to know more about it, one of the ways I see it is through the funeral and the repass. When you see young people pass away, right? It's something that we see in more and more, unfortunately, in this country. And you know what I mean? You decide the fact that they go by guides and they put them to sit down with Cheetos and conkles and all kinds of things. You know, they pose them up now. They don't just lie down, you know. They do like a rest in peace. The way you're awake while you're gone too. Beside the fact that you see that, what you usually see is a very full funeral, a very somber kind of atmosphere, because we have this perception that you're not supposed to die young. It is not typical. You know, the doctors and the health people will tell you, you know what I mean, you do all medical and everything working fine, usually you will live for long, you know what I mean? But nothing promised us, nothing given, nothing is granted, you know. It's so important to have that gratitude all the time, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know if you're going to be here, you know. And with the young people, you see these funerals full of youths, all of them print jerseys now with, what is called thing now? They're in the clouds and they know what I mean? You know what the thing is like. Whereas when you see somebody who lived to knocking on 100 door, like Mama Doreen, what you typically find is that you reach an age where your friends have already passed away. Your family, they didn't really pass away, you know, but they pass you because they're interested in you, they're only interested in the little house where you left back and the land and the little monies that you might have and so on, you know. it mightn't be the same, you know. It's not the same. It's not where you have this big outpouring of love. Sometimes it's just the few people who remain around you that you might find in that church and by the cemetery and think, well, not so with Mama Doreen, you know. Because Mama Doreen lived a life I feel we could learn from. I personally could learn a lot from her in being able to see her and having the honor and pleasure to talk to her. She knows me, you know what I mean? All down to the last. And then seeing how people showed up for her in a funeral. I want to talk about the girl guides for a minute, right? And for people who might know her a little weird, this was my sister's grandmother. His grandmother, great grandmother, my sister, grandmother, you know what I mean? Salute to General and the Sampson family, the Cashes and so on, all the people who are affected by this. But when you go on there, and they do it down in Tacarigua, the right opposite by Eddie Hart, you know, it's a Anglican church there. I think, well, first thing first, I thought it was a Catholic church. A long time I didn't go to church, you know, so I tell myself it's a Catholic church. I find like the little, what do you call it, homily? I find it going on long. I said, oh God, I drove off. I started to think about that thing. I said, is man still talking? I said, what is going on here? But they gone in the Anglican church, and one of the first things that I noticed was the amount of girl guides. The church split up into 4 sections. The girl guides alone take up an entire section of the church. A quarter of the church was girl guides in uniform. And I'm talking about girl guides of all age. Some of them have been a girl for a long time, you know what I mean? It's of all age. From little children going to school to girl guides who them look like they open girl guides. Whenever girl guides start, them start it, you know what I mean? But Mama Doreen was the head of the girl guide. She was herself a girl guide and worked in the organization for many, many years, you know. She was a teacher as well and live a full life. And the church being as full as it was a testament to the life that she lived. But what was very powerful and very emotional, you know, you go in the church, you sign book and all the normal things that you would see. But then when it's time for people to move for service to start, what happened was the girl guides went and made a guard of honor. And they do, I gonna do the sign wrong, eh? Anybody in girl guides go tell me which one of these signs is the correct sign. You can't know it wrong like hell, right? I look like if I in Crips and the Bloods right now. But they do the guard of honor and they run her straight up. They think that was a powerful and emotional thing to do. And it struck me as, you know, I always observant and I always trying to take away what I could take away from a situation. But it made me realize that this is one of the things that the country need more of, and I might be missing. And you know, it was such a staple when we were growing up, and maybe it's just so much different things for us to do and so much thing for us. You know, we entertained all the time, or somebody else might say we dated all the time. So a lot of things going on in the society that we're not happy about, we're not proud about, we're not feeling good. We're considering migration and all these things, and I wonder if we only start to feel that angst or that discomfort when the news story done happen. We seem to not want to take the time to mold the children again or to be a part of the community or to build the community. But we want the results that come from well-organized and well-oiled communities and things. So, an example of that, I was talking about myself here, the tendency is to kind of lock yourself in a gated community, lock yourself in a house, apply for FUL, stand your ground, knock it and again and again and again and again. That's the response we have to a society that's in decay. You know, when we might be the reason it's in decay. We have this notion that some politicians somewhere have the place out there, but it's us. It's really me and you who have it the way it is. And we're responding to it by making it worse in a lot of ways. And in the midst of that funeral, in the midst of a time of grief and just reflecting on the life, I saw how much people this woman impacted. I know the impact she had on my life, which I'll talk about a little bit. I know some of the impact she had on my sister's life. But when you look at the girl guides and the way they showed up, or at the Jersey funeral is for young people. When you see plenty of people in a cemetery in Jersey, that when you know is youths dead. I seen people in Jersey in the funeral because she was also a badminton player, and I saw representatives from the Trinidad Tobago Secondary Schools Badminton Association present at her funeral. The people who I seen 30-something, 40 years old, is not old people I watching, and they connected with this woman who is 98 years old. So it speaks to something in our society I feel is missing. When I look at what we have become, I wonder if it is, and only go tell me if I'm ignorant and these things still very, very prevalent and so on. The institutions that we used to have that bring communities together and teach people disciplines and teach people a code of honor. The fact that somebody saw it important. So that this woman who's 98 years old, who worked with girl guides for maybe 50 years of her life, or 60 years, for plenty life. People are living to see 60, you work in an organization for them kind of years. When you look at somebody who has dedicated that much to something, and this something is bigger than them, this something is institutional, it is global, they have rituals and they have customs and norms, and they build themselves into a cohesive society, who could show up for them like that, to do that guard of honor, because it's an honor to do the guard of honor for the person who would have passed. I wonder if that's what we're missing in the society. This is me thinking out loud. I will bear with me because I'm thinking, boy, we need individually, and I'm talking about me and you. I ain't talking about the politician and no business person and no I'm talking about me. To see how we could get institutions like these back together again, up and running and grease up nice, so that younger people feel like they are part of something. Because when you feel like you're part of something, you're likely to have a different attitude towards the environment you're coming up in. You know it's not about you. I feel like a big part of the issues we have in this country, from the highest levels of society to the people who you might say, who we want to point the finger at for disrupting society, and to the criminal, then all they want to point the finger and say the criminal is the problem. I feel from here to there, top to bottom and everything in between, we are selfish. As individuals, we live for self. We live for a very few people, like your family, your son, your daughter, whoever it might be. You live for that little group who you're in front of every day, and that is it. And we live as though we don't need the rest of the society and we don't need nobody else. And I don't know if we could continue to live like that. I don't know if no sort of policing will help that. I don't know if no sort of body cam or police inside the schools. I don't care what's the policy, I don't think any of those things can help that. I think what the things that are going to help that is things like the Girl Guides, the Brownies, only remember them, the Cub Scouts, the Cadets, these kind of organizations, I feel, could be part of the reason for how we advance as a society, or how we start making people at least remember that they are part of a whole. Benja had a song, half and a half is a whole. Take a half and a half is a whole. Maybe that's what I tried to say. We had to get to that point where we build something back. We build something back. And Mama Doreen funeral was one of those places where you realize that, well, first and foremost, that there's always hope. And Mama Doreen funeral was a place like that. Again, celebrating life, but there's plenty of grief and sadness in there because people lost the matriarch of the family. That's never easy, regardless of what it is. Institutions lost a pillar. And you find that the sadness that people may feel in moments like those, although we might come and we say we celebrating life and all that, which is true. You can't hold things like that back. And I mean, it's one of the biggest funerals. I went to the church overflowing with people. Repass, I eat a whole pillow. I eat every pillow. They can't stop feeding me. I eat with a piece. You know what I mean? We had a good time. And of course, I play in the scrunter because me and Daddy get a chance to play together. We play a couple of Kaiso and them kind of things. So I want to play some of the Kaiso that we played then. I'll play a few that we play in Mama Doreen in Repass. And some things that I see there, before I move on from that, again, I see young people. One of the other things is happening, young people. I always remember a cousin named Ainsley, right? Died very young, so little boy, little Thomas. And, he lived that life, right? He's a man, he picked a road. You know what I mean? Like we say that. He made his choice and he chose a road in life, right? And I always remember the funeral was a kind of juxtaposition. People who choose one life versus who choose. So you're at church and some people who dedicated life to the Lord and some people who didn't. You know what I mean? They dedicated life to other things and so on. And, when I see amongst the thing they throw down in this man, when they lower in a casket, they might throw a little dirt and the kind of things. Boy, here now, the amount of bottle of thing they throw it. Boy, Mama Doreen so too, the real young people funeral, Salute to Jill. I see Jill try to throw her Hennessy. When they throw Hennessy down in the graves of Mama Doreen, take a big drink. I see my guy looking for a drink myself. They pour all the Hennessy. I see one of the girl guys say, "Oh my, oh my." Listen, that is the way to go out. You can't go out no better than that. So salute to Mama Doreen. I want to dedicate all the songs in this episode to Mama Doreen, and just for the role she played in my life, as I say, as a guide, as a mentor. She was a person who was listening to the podcast as well. She had some words for me. Before she head out. Her words were, "You doing big podcast." My sister called me, right? The last time I saw her must be last month. And she good, she good. She have everything, lucid and good. You ain't talking about no 98-year-old who she know fully well what going on around her, fully cognizant of everything. And I see my sister calling. I now leave them. We went to Lime and I now leave them. She video calling. I say, "What man?" She Mama Doreen take the phone. Mama Doreen say, "You doing big podcasts and you ain't saying nothing about how they cancel Independence Day and they cancel the parade and think, what kind of podcast you really doing?" So I want to take this moment for this episode to play some tune for Mama Doreen. Don't mind she make me play for free. I'm playing some tune for Mama Doreen. I want to play a few tunes too for Auntie Uma, who would have passed away just about a year before that. Imagine that, you know what I mean? When you see people grow up close, they have a way of heading out the same time too. Now, when one gone, the next one looking to go. But before we do that, because of how moving the funeral was to me and how much it was a reflection, just the way she lived her life, it was a reflection for me of so many things that are issues with what we're facing today and maybe offering us an opportunity to look at things differently, even while her eyes closed. I want to play one of the hymns they had on the when you're going in church and they don't know none of the hymn and you had to look because you can't even see so well, so you're trying to figure out what hymn this again. And this is a hymn that I'm sure everybody know, but I feel like I hear it for the first time in the funeral.
If my people humble themselves
I feel this is a church. I feel this. As a man, Mama Doreen she do good, but she don't exactly make me join the church yet to do this show. But I find this song nice, and I find it very relevant to it's very relevant to what we going through in Trinidad and Tobago today. Only don't feel like, because the faster I join the church is the faster they come and tell all their backslide too. So while we talk about heal our land, I don't make sure that they tell me more than a year ago. They say Auntie Irma loves Sparrow. This is the only show you could come to and hear Heal Your Land and Jean and Dinah in one sentence.
Well, the girls in town feeling bad. No more Yankees in Trinidad. They wanna close down the base for good. Them girls have to make out how they could. Brothers now they pack up in town. In for a penny and in for a pound. Believe me, it's competition for so. Trouble in the town when the price not low. So when you come to Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, on the corner posing that your life is something they sell. And when you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. The Yankees gone, Sparrow take over now.
All this is a part of the process to heal the land.
The things bad is to hear them cry, not to sailor in tongue, the nightclubs dry. Only West Indians like me or you go in to take a drink or two. And as we have things back in control, I seeking revenge with my heart and soul. Brother, when I spread the news around, is to see how them cavemen come into town, just to meet Miss Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Down the corner posing that your life is something they're selling. And when you catch them broken, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. Well, the Yankees gone, Sparrow take over now.
Last time I remember playing that tune, I think if it's not Mama Doreen, it's Auntie Irma birthday, and I see we play a Gene and Dinah. So to my father, when I went to my father, is a man, no Kaiso, No Kaiso, and he know to select and play tune. Because one of the last times I see two of them together, they dance into the Gene and Dinah. So so Mama Doreen and Auntie Irma, all they dancing again when all they hear that Gene and Dinah. I have plenty more Sparrow line up and I have plenty more Kaiso for all to go. But quick shout out to Affordable Imports. That's where I record every week. And big thanks to them for believing in the vision and giving us the space and technical support to get amazing conversations out to you every week. Institutions, I want to talk about that for a little while, right? Because one of the things that I really enjoy seeing recently, and it's like I have a partner, so let's my partner, Kaiso, right? He's in Central Bank, and he's talking all the time about they having bank league, and the central banks is go and play against one another and go up the islands. This is exactly what I mean when I talk about institutions, right? When you hear him talk about that, I mean, he's a man that choose the right path and so on, right? For now. But youths is who are concerned about, and I'll talk about some of the episodes I record that I'm enjoying right now about why, even as we talk about to some of the legends in business and in arts and culture and music in our country, I'm doing it for young people. I'm hoping and praying that younger people latch onto it and they listen to it and they get some of the messages that, because what the true line in all the episodes is really success stories from some of these people. I'm hoping that is young people doing it. So when I hear Kaiso talking about the way he prepares, he go, he train and he make sure he make this side, he encourage other fellas because we had to be the Jamaican Central Bank because it's a league. And I'm wondering if we're robbing our youth sometimes. And when I say you, I'm talking about me. Our youth sometimes of being parts of things, because we can't continue to assume this thing where we say, well, we grew up all right because we get licks and we grew up good and we grow. Our generation's so different to theirs because we grew up where we had well, number one, we grew up where we had family life. So even if it's not mommy and daddy in a house together, I grew up in a house with 13 people. The old Sheppy and them, all the Caribbean, them men used to keep me in line, you know what I mean? And he partners and them. I have so much respect for some of the Sheppy partners because them is the men now where you're a teenager and you're out on the road and you're trying to break away. Them men go still watch you and say, boy, nah, you ain't moving good there, this, that. You know what I mean? We had, outside of even our core family structure, we had a village. But like I said, the village locked their doors. Everybody who could afford it run to gated communities and do that. Who can't afford it, or who could afford a little, they can't afford the gated community, but gate yourself in, all the burglar proof and all the ring cameras and all the this. We isolate ourselves from the society. And who can even afford none of that? At least they lock up the mouth because they don't want to say this one doing that and this one because now you're frightened for your own family. Me saying nobody wrong and I just saying what the situation is. So we close doors in society. We cut off the idea of community. And then we shocked that we end up with a generation of vipers. I don't want to say that, right? But we end up with a society that we're not in control of. It's slipping away from us. So one of them institutions that I watching recently and the social media is such a beautiful thing now that a man like me who don't want to leave home to get information. But I'm watching the police band. When last I see the police band, I remember when I was small, which was a long time ago, you know what I mean? Small in age as well as girth, you know what I mean? Size, you know what I mean? Belly and so on. I remember the police band used to have a thing like on the bandstand. No, remember that? Like around the savannah. People who might have been here before me, who closer to Mama Doreen age, might be able to tell me as well if the police band used to play outside. Because I remember it's in the Royal Gardens, you know what I mean? What's called that? Botanical Gardens. But I don't know if they used to play and go and tour around. Like I talk about the Calypso tent a lot. I wonder if the police band used to go and play all over the place. I remember what used to happen around that Botanical Gardens or President's Ground or whatever you used to call it, where they play. And people would come out in the numbers, bring their whole families out. Salute to my partner Prevat. I remember watching some show on the Botanical Gardens, and when I look, I see Prevat and the family taking in, it was Pando, taking in the show there. You know, things like that give us something to look forward to. We have a carnival, right? And the carnival sometimes is sedate we a little bit. But shows like that give us a chance to look forward to something, to anticipate, and also to build a certain level and sense of national pride that I also honestly think that we're missing it. We just don't have it in the same way we used to. So when I came across this Instagram page, Trinidad and Tobago Service Band, I encourage you to go and follow them because there are some gifted musicians in the band and gifted and hardworking musicians in the band. And they have a full ensemble. So when I look at the one that catch my eye is really a woman playing trombone because, you know what I mean, they have a brass section, which brass, I have some producers who coming up in some episodes who go talk about why we at a disadvantage because we're missing brass from in music, right? But boy, that trombone woman, when I see she play a piece of music there, I wonder if you go hear it if I play it here, boy. Yeah, come inside of this party thing. You remember that? But it's the action and the passion that she played will catch my eye and obviously catch a lot of people because it alright, police band, only very aggressive with the police band. You know what I mean? Playing in police. So yeah, when you look at the passion that they playing with and stuff, it was very encouraging to see, and it made me go back into this idea of our institutions and how they're missing, because that had to be one of the ways that could still diffuse some of the tension that we see with communities and police. I know several commissioners before, because I am an alternate commissioner, imagine I get like earlier now, I praying for the country, I start the episode, a little heal all and I get just like earlier, it's prayers. Nothing else I walk in, I turn into prayers now, right? But when you look at the only two wicked videos, and the police have a hard work. I want to say the police have an impossible job. It's impossible. Me is saying all of them good. Me is saying some of them are corrupt. Me is saying that some of the police know who they say was meeting the criminal and thing, and they went and meet the thing before the thing, and I ain't saying like, when they find Johnny Abraham, who they tell them should go on us, and all of a sudden he right back down. Johnny looking like he choose to get it. Johnny get old, but I know talking about that. I talking about just policemen. The police as an institution itself is difficult. The working conditions in the greatest is not good. The amount of pressure they under is not good. They get no praise. Police is one of the hardest work it up. I have not seen in a long time an article, a social media thing, or a blogger. I ain't see not Raw Talk, not with the next one named Sunshine, none of the popular blog. And I ain't seen none of them come out and saying how great the police service is and they do a good job. They in a thankless job. They in a job where they always could be wrong. And when you're wrong, it's on the front page. And when you're right, nobody knows and nobody cares. And they will even say things like, what they doing their work? I just do my work. Well, in theory, I just do my work, right? But it's nice when you do your work and somebody come and tell you, boy, you really do a good job, boy, I appreciate what you do for the smallest of thing. But when it comes to police and somebody tries to get them credit, people say, well, they're getting them credit for doing the work. Social media is a hell of a thing and they should ban social media comments. I go heal all that too. So when I look at the passion and the drive that going into to create, or the members of the police, man, I send them a message. Somebody who know them, tell them I'm trying to get onto them now. I want to do something special with them, you know what I mean? But the police ban being one of those things as an institution in the society, and I feel we have a real opportunity to use that to heal the divide between the communities that need the most help or support and the police who police in them communities who we should be grateful and thankful for every day. Every day. We should be thankful that there are police who are willing to leave their children. Thing me are willing to do, you know. They're willing to leave their children home and go into communities and hotspot. Because when I hear gunshot, if the gunshot so, I headed so. I not going nowhere close to that. Them going into with the thing line. Always remember, I interviewed with Salute Daniel Loveless, now known as Adonai Dio. You know what I mean? I call people by the rightful name. He do an interview with Uncle Kaiso. All you know, Uncle Kaiso, the one who say, good food this morning, good food, the champion breakfast. He say, coffee to wash it down, the biggest coconut roll you ever see in your life. Saltfish with plenty tomato, salsa, sweet pepper. He said, good food, good food. I like Uncle Kaiso. Uncle Kaiso is a general on TikTok. That's a social media influencer for your money. And then I do an interview with him and ask him, you know, well, how you remain so happy? And that man make one of the simplest statements I feel it defined my life. He said, boy, I don't like trouble and I don't like problem. He said, if I go in on a problem, so I go in on the next road. Boy, listen, that should be national watchwords, what Kaiso said there. So when we see people who like me, who want to go so when problems start on the left side, I go on right. You have to commend and be thankful and grateful for people who, when the problem is so, then going inside there to solve the problem. All the police and the fire and the regiment and the army and the coast guard, who we don't say nothing about, we don't say nothing good about them. All we say about them is the wicked and the corrupt and the thing. I feel like things like the policeman, talking about the institutions, might be an opportunity to do that. I would love to see a state we live in our country or feel the vibe. I want to be there when the whole policeman as is run down in the Seal Out or run up in Laventille or go down in Carson Field or go wherever else they go and set up the whole band. And don't just go and play Johnny, you know, according to the great Devon Stewart. How much time you play Johnny? You don't play Johnny. You could go and play Zest music, play Zest Team Trinidad, learn their songs, go and make a presentation, bring their artists, meet them where they are. It's for too long now. We as the older people in society, as I keep saying every week here, we as the grown-ups now, we can't expect them to come around to some version. I'm talking to young people now, right? Because we're going to come around to some version of us. I will talk a little bit about Scorch 101 listen a little while, right? But as I say that, let me write it down, because a man say I go talk about thing and I can't remember when the time come. When you see young people, the world starts when you're born. It was we too. The world started for me in 1980. That is when it starts. So when you're talking about things before 1980, I just picture it in black and white, like before they invent color and them kind of things. It's hard for people to fathom what happened before them. So you can't expect them to know what we know. Them and go like, no, Johnny. Me saying don't play Johnny for them and go and play the Johnny too. But play some of their music, get them excited about what they contribute into society and let them know that we value their contribution. Don't mind, we might not agree with the message that is sending in the song. show them that you value the conversation. Show them that the police willing to go and play the music that they find exciting. Like when I drop my son to school in the morning. If you give me a chance every minute of every day, I go be playing some kind of, I looking for a voice, I looking for a Kaiso, Marshall, let me play all day. That's me. Or my long time dancer, like I go play cartel whole day if you give me the chance. Every morning this boy going to school, all I hear is, and I want to hit him with a blasted butu. I say, but what the hell is going on in this car every day? But that them fellas music, that what they like and them kind of thing. We robbed them and that. We wasn't young and we didn't like thing too. They let them use and them make their contribution to society. Coincidentally, the Asian song, I understand the rhythm produced by a Trinidadian. Why we must just celebrate these kind of things. So I would love to see the police band and I want to meet with them bad. Or they tell them, give me the number. Somebody tell me it's 628 police band, but I try to and get one. So get a number for them from me, get in contact. I want to talk to them. I want to see what they would do. I have something special planned for them. But again, an institution that I feel we could use, because if the police only showing up to the community in tactical gear with a face thing and the thing cover and the nothing and the body cam down and training in the back of X-Trail, or when I'm a young child, my only interaction with the police is in a school when I go into school because I am bad. I'm a bad person. I'm in a bad school. I have done bad. And now they have to send police to make sure I don't do bad. What you're doing is separating them from the society. What is going to be those little children now when them turn adult? What is going to be their view of the state? What is going to be how they go treat the country? I ain't talking about nothing complicated, I know. How they go feel about littering and cluttering up the street with garbage, and if we have flooding, and how they go feel about it? How they feel about raising the children in this country? Will they feel and grow up like valued members of the society? And don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying dope. I'm not critiquing the idea of putting police in the schools at all. I feel the same way everybody feel about the school fights, and something had to happen. So any decision always better than no decision at all where I'm concerned. So I don't really have too much of an opinion of putting the police in school. Only see how they lock the one police in a room. Hey, as Miss Commander talked about, they lock the one police in a room, boy. They say he drop asleep. He in a room, he killing sleep because nothing happened. The presence of the police itself, police in uniform still means something in this country. I've been to countries where police in uniform don't mean much, and there's an army everywhere. Hey, if you listen this long and you ain't subscribed yet, you're wicked in real life. Thankfully, we're in a country where police in uniform still mean something. But police in a uniform sleeping mean snap the padlock fast. Poor fellow. They say he's still in the school. They can't find the key up to today there. So if that's your only interaction with the thing, this is all my point is. If all your interactions with the police is when the police trying to police you and hold you from protecting the rest of the society from you, we have to be very careful about how we treat with young people. Young people, this become 40-something fast. And you want to have a batch of 40-something, not like we. You want to have a batch of 40-something who love the country and feel like it's a good place to be and thing. But I really come for all that political talk and heavy talk, you know. I mean, I come here really to play Kaiso in loving memory. Auntie Irma and Mama Doreen.
The governor had a ball, I never seen nothing so yet. A mad woman jumped the wall and invade the Fed. Prospect with the baton in hand, conducting the police band. He said the woman shake, she waist in the governor face, telling everybody inside the place. I couldn't believe that the woman was so bold-faced. But shake it up again, mama yo. Calypso, calypso maestro. Mr. Prospect stopped the band, but that was a big mistake, because now the mad woman won't give him a break. She say, if you want to conduct this band, it is your hard luck. Now, fellas, 1, 2, 3, follow me. That is how I like to hear music play. And if you see how the mad woman break away, fa sol la ti do, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Piano man, let me hear you blow. The governor tell the guard, put this lunatic outside. The woman is really mad, and she should be tied. When the soldier make him move, she say, what you trying to prove? I'm only having fun. Attention! Now behave yourself and do as I say. About turn the soldier, turn round and walk away. Listen, soldier boy, let me stay and enjoy the governor's ball. Mr. Prospect, don't stop at all. In spite of all the comments, Prospect still ain't make no fuss. The woman was just a pest, but not dangerous. She hug up the governor tighter than a wrestler. Now, your excellency, dance with me. I was up in the madhouse resting easy. The sweet music of the band had me buzzing. So let the music play, let the music play, let it play. Governor, let we break away. Oh, yeah.
What I should do, go and leave you to Google Mr. Prospect or read it. Let me read it, right? It says, after winning a scholarship, the man's name is Mr. Guillermo Anthony Prospect. Sorry, let me get that right. Guillermo Anthony Prospect, ARCM-LMC-AMUS-LTCN-LRSM. Put handle to the man name. After winning a scholarship, he became the first Trinidadian to study military bandsmanship in England, graduating from the Royal Military School of Music at Nello as the best conductor in his class in 1963. Anthony Prospect joined the Trinidad and Tobago Police Band in 1944 and retired in 1982. Mr. Prospect single-handedly transformed the police band in his colorful career, being appointed the first Trinidadian-born director of the police band in 1964. He immediately impacted the Independence Day Parade when he adopted the 1964 road march, Lord Kitchener's Mama This Is Mass, to a military march. A lover and promoter of steel pan, Mr. Prospect did a long-playing album, LP, with the Renegade Steel Orchestra. He was also conductor/musical director of the Desperados Steel Orchestra, but his highlight came with Casablanca Steel Orchestra, placing second in 1980 with the Zampa Overture and transcribing the 17-minute-long Tchaikovsky 1812 Overture to win the Steel Band's Music Festival in 1982. Mr. Prospect also formed the first police steel band that went on to composing and writing music for the steel orchestras. Among his composition, this is where he's got trouble, Intermezzo, always I made that right, in E-flat, 1966 Music Festival test piece at Maracas Bay in 1972. The King of Calypso, Mighty Sparrow, also sang about the charismatic conductor in a calypso called The Governor's Ball, widely known for its chorus catchline, "Shake your battle like Mr. Prospect." And if you see the mad woman break away, shake your battle like Mr. Prospect. Mr. Prospect died at 77 in the year 2000. What has had to do with the price of rice? Well, we are talking about the police band, right? But Mr. Prospect was one of the main men, as they say here, who, not when we enjoy the Independence Day Parade, when we used to, Mr. Prospect was one of the men who, you see the same way now, I see people in the comments when Independence Day get cancelled, talking about No, they can't wet them down with thing, because now it's turned into outside on Tacarigua Road. Now the fire service go wet down some people and so on, which I like. But they say, in other words, people were diminishing the importance of the Independence Day parade. And trying to bring it down to it's just a Juve and it's just a lime and it's just a this and it's just a that, right? We go get to that, right? The reason I'm talking about this is because I was told by Mama Doreen in our last conversation that big Independence Day cancel and now you play his podcast, which podcast it is, and he ain't saying nothing about it. She damn right. I was also told by Auntie Merle, who was in the funeral, big Independence Day, you cancel the whole thing too, because I have a tradition of every Independence Day come in and play songs that are about Trinidad and Tobago here, and some very patriotic songs. And I didn't really get a chance to do it this Independence Day. So right now, she had me down as a yellow as a coach. She say, you like you take, she say like you take on, you get by. You get by, because... The thing cancel, and we know one thing we could look forward to, just like the parade and the fireworks, is that Corie go play a little Kaiso for we at Independence Day, but no luck with that. We didn't at the time, but I go fix that today. We gotta fix that today and make it we gotta make it right. We gotta pay off our debts. But when Mr. Prospect, and one of the things that we look forward to the parade a lot, because I am not sure that our parade, I'm not sure if it is seen as a show of military force and so on, right? Although now these days we could probably use a good showing of military force. I want to be very careful because I, as a man, had to travel soon, right? If only find out about talking slow and I'm picking my words carefully, is because I had to travel soon. And what I don't want to end up happening is that people tell me, well, I've heard your comments on so and so and so, and go back from hence you came. Don't come here. You're not welcome in this place, right? I have a place to go, I have a thing to do. But these days, maybe we could use a good little show of military force, given the pronouncements from certain benches on certain platforms these days. I feel maybe we have a military and we have artillery that I don't know about. It must be the best kept secret in the world, because like we could respond to thing. Long time, right? It used to have a thing when we in my Fatima days, when you want to, you're not in nothing, you're a coward, but fight going on and you don't want to be looked at like no punk on the block, right? So what used to happen a lot is that a man might, I ain't calling no names like Corie Shepherd, but a man might be frightened to fight, right? And have men who ain't no brave. So when the fight starts, the fella can end up in a situation where everybody says a punk and you run and all them kind of thing. So you had to look like you fight. So what the fella used to do is run behind big fellas like Mr. Reese, you know what I mean? So to Mr. Reese and Fatima now. Or if you're going Fatima and you listen to this, there's no Mr. Reese, it's just a name. Let me say Mr. Priest. So he go on. What the man gonna do is when Reese running, you hide behind Reese. And when Reese had the man under control, you pelt some hand wrong Reese back. So So when fights start, everybody go say, boy, Corie running, fella running, and he was I'm feeling like in a lot of ways. I don't know what make that story come to mind, because we talk about fight people and attack with full force, something like we have force, we never force, we never hear force. So one of the things that our parade stands for me, and I'm very, very biased towards Kaiso and Calypso. I want to salute my boy Jude and Naldo from the Alternative Perspective podcast. They used to always tell me that, this man is always complaining that the opposition at the time, the UNC-led opposition, would not show up for the parade and thing, as if this is the biggest problem in the country. To me, it is. And why I feel is an issue is because one of the things that our parade does, and as the article saying here, led by Mr. Prospect, is that it is also a significant or a signal or a message about our independence, that we can do it always. So I was talking to somebody recently and they're saying that maybe we have an opportunity to change what the parade is to show true independence, because the parade in and of itself is a colonial thing. True. But in this era of revisionist rewriting, correcting history or whatever, led by Dr. Kirkmeadow, we must also remember that we have a history. I is the first one to tell you, take down all them things from Moruga and the statue of Columbus and them things. And when I say that, I don't mean forget Columbus. I just mean don't try to glorify him. But he's a part of our history. So is the parade. So is our colonial past as part of our history. Slavery is part of our history. Indentureship. All those things must be taught. We must understand what those things are. Even if it is just so that we don't repeat the same mistakes or that we see it coming if somebody come back to take me for 400 more years. We must know what it look like. Understand? What I say in it to say is, I am not saying that we have to abandon. I might be the happiest man if you turn the whole parade into a conga line and we bump and grind going down the road. I might be the happiest man for that. But I respect the historians and the people who need the history not to be completely erased. But Mr. Prospect, in his own way, because we could have still be playing a set of military music from England and them kind of thing and all those things, we could have still be playing that. Mr. Prospect is part of the reason why now every parade, every one of the armed forces and every one of the special forces and every one of our protective services, this be playing a Kaiso, playing something that we know, playing something that is of us, created by us, invented by us, perfected by us, is as part of the parade. So for that reason, our show of independence is an important thing to me. We must never forget that the Prime Minister, President, all the dignitaries, leader of the opposition and so on, I feel must be present. It should be mandated to me that we remember, because again, institutions. If you ignore all the institutions like the Girl Guides, the Brownies, the Independent, if you throw away all the institutional thing, the fullest institution go be the one that wants to close down on Frederick Street and move up more people to Aruka. That institution go be here forever. The remand yard, that institution ain't go move. We can't just throw away everything that we have that is our tradition and so on. And if the leaders of the country are flippant about it and are talking about 2010 to 2020, wherever it is, my gripe with it is that the opposition leaders are signaling to the country and to their supporters in particular, they are letting it known that we don't care about this. It is not important. I don't know if it's because the party is yellow and they refuse to wear red. I don't know if it's because they don't want to be in the same room with the other people who in power. I doubt that is what it is, because I got my theory is that this was Fred and them kind of thing. Me don't know if it's a hot sun. Me don't know if it, but I feel it's better the opposition at the time come out and tell we, okay, these are the reasons why I'm not participating in it, and we address them reasons because you had to be there. So I sat like a mad puppy, I waiting for them because they're in power now and they have a few months running up to independence. I waiting to see if they go red out and come and stand up in the back of van and come and watch Prospect shake baton and them kind of thing but lo and behold, they cancel the whole independence parade and the fireworks. We are still in a state of emergency up to now. I think we are now in a world where we are in a permanent state of emergency. It's sad. These things happen faster, people. If you ever read about the way countries run and them kind of thing, they have this thing they talk about, this frog that was in this pot. And if you put the frog in the pot of boiling water, the frog just jump out. But if you put the frog in the cold water, he just relax. And if you turn up the heat and you let it simmer and then you let it boil, the frog will boil to death. I feel like we some frog, Because some things in the society going on now that we just accepting as normal. And one of them is the state of emergency. The word emergency tends to carry with it a connotation of some temporary state of heightened awareness and response and so on. Keyword there is temporary. But now we're in a state of emergency that we was in a state of emergency before the election. Everybody wanted to know when it got done. What is this thing? What's the plan? What happened? Now, nobody. It is radio silence, crickets on the state of emergency. I don't know if it's because we forget. I don't know if it's because we trust this current administration more than the last one, so we going along with it. If it's a state of emergency, we cool staying. I don't know if we feel like as a society this is that the threat to us is so looming that we don't want to come out. We want to stay in the state of emergency. Or I don't know if we feel much, much safer because we're in a state of emergency. When I watch the headlines, I don't see anything happening different than what's happening before where security is concerned. But again, I default to the people who are in charge because they have more information than me and maybe they're seeing something that causes us to be or need to be in a state of emergency. I don't know. Where my difficulty lies is they would have had the same information that the last administration had. And when the last administration did it, I was here saying, they have more information than we, so they might know something that we don't know. And if that's what they had to do, that's what they had to do. And we can't just stay permanently in a state of emergency. If that's the case, we need help. But again, we are outside health now. You know what I mean? The people there, I really just come to play Kaiso and thing, you know, me come to talk a heavy talk. But again, salute to Mr. Prospect, salute to who he is. I would like to take a little minute if I could humor me again to play a tune, which we also play in the repass. You know what I mean? The repass is expensive repass. And if you see people they feed, boy, listen, I never seen nothing like that. The hundreds and hundreds of people in this funeral and not everybody give you the repass like a wedding. You know what I mean? But for nothing, they wouldn't play the band. The band playing for free. The band is not, you know what I mean? I say, but what we are? I say, Doreen didn't leave a little thing. She didn't leave back a little thing as part of the repass budget for we. But of course, again, the great Ken Corie is a man, know how to fine tune and know how to select tunes. So every time I ask him before we play, I say, but what you want to play, boy? He said, me, you know, this man talk to me like I really know how to play music, you know. But he pulled this one out, which I ain't hear we sing or play in a long time.
Why and she telling them. Why and she telling them. Oh lady walk a mile and a half and she telling them. Oh lady walk a mile and a half and she telling them. Boom bang. Why and she telling them. Bada boom bang. Why and she telling them. Bling bang. Oh lady walk a mile and a half and she telling them. Up the hill, down the hill, was Miss Vito there. She was walking the distance, 2.410. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Why and she telling. Why and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. She left home from Arima at 6:30. When she reached to Aruga, she was so deep. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Boom bang. Why and she telling. Boom bang. Why and she telling. Hari blanc blanc. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. With a Martinican towel she tie her head. In a basket she had two cassava bread. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Boom bang. Why bang 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 telling. Boom bang why and she telling. Oh lady walk a mile and a half, and she telling. Up the hill, down the hill, when Miss Beto there. You know Miss Beto there? I want to tell her that Holly mother, but then I gotta ask you if you know who's Holly. Coming off our independence cancellation, we are hot and sweaty into Republic Day, and of course, the honorees for the National Award is something that I typically talk about every year. And this year, I have to say that I've seen the kiss and I'm well pleased. You know what I mean? I've seen that kiss and I'm satisfied. Usually I come in to argue about national awardees. And my issue being that part of my mission and people I talk to is to talk about our culture. I want to talk about we culture in total. And our culture is not limited to music and arts and performance, but the music and arts and performance is part of the culture. I think politics is our culture. I think the business is our culture, the liming, the kind of... We must take a more holistic look at how we develop as a society, what our society is.
when we are somebody who I consider to be, when I make a Mount Rushmore of Calypsonian, I cannot leave out a man by the name of Ian Bungie Garland Alvarez. Rest in peace to his mother, right? And condolences to the family. I feel, again, when you look at what the criteria was for coming up with a Mount Rushmore, the change that Bungie has made and continues to make from the time he starts off in red and yellow and green suit to where he's changing it now and where he's taking soca music. And the sound of soca, it cannot be discounted. We will look back at this era here and realize what Bungie really is. But I always feel like when you're talking about the greatest, he to me is up there. If you had to decide on who's the 4 greatest of all time. So when I look at somebody who has done so much for our society, and many, many people before, like Shorty, who is also on my list of greatest Calypsonians ever, I wonder what prevents them or what seems to make that contribution to society less than people like Modi, people like who contributed a lot to society, either in politics or medicine or literature. How we not? It feels as though we are limiting our artists to Shakonia medals or maybe a hummingbird in some places. Well, there are a few who would get the top national award. What do you call it again? Trinity Cross or Order of the Republic of Trinidad? But we're quick to run to give people who not from here. I don't care what the rhetoric is and what the reasoning that we're saying and every other country in the world give more the thing. I do not like the idea that people who I consider to have contributed nothing to our society, zero, nothing compared to the people who live here and contribute, are by default giving themselves national awards. Now, I always had to listen to Mr. Paolo Kernahan, right, who tends to make a lot of the things I think about and feel strongly about songs so flippant and foolish when I look at what he says. One of the things he said, which tempered my opinion about this, is that, hey, this is really, them national awards, is we who put in the value on that, and it's really people scratching one another back and loving one another and getting one another award. Because when they go country to country, as you as a leader of the country, the politicians want to recognize you. So maybe it's politicians playing games, and maybe we need to, like the people who can't get no Grammy because of this, that, let us create our own awards and give it the prestige that the national awards has. I don't know. But I do feel as if we tend to not want to give it to the pan man or the Kaisonian or the writer or whoever it might be. I saw Darren Sandy this morning before I started recording a little bit of talking on Winsford Joker Devines, and his as a literary genius. He's a national awardee, I believe, but I wonder sometimes why, if he is the pinnacle of writing in the country, what stops him from going for the top award? I don't know. But the Order of the Republic of Trinidad is a big one. This Republic Day was given to Hochari Charles posthumously and Professor Selwyn Cudjoe, two people who we know, two people who I would argue are well deserving of the national award. Professor Kenneth Ramchan, Professor Emeritus in Education. The fact that he's in education, that is why I don't know him, because I don't know, I'm most educated, but we're not there. But I'm going to, should I give all the names? Because this is it's usually important to me, so it would be, it could be bad if I don't go through all the names, right? But some of them stand out to me. So Adis Surju Singh, Director of Women's Health and Ministry of Health and Healthcare, Fazal Karim, posthumously member of the Parliament of Shogunas East, and so on. Trinbago Knight Riders, the Shoguna medal goal for the 5th CPL title. Or for the Ambassador of Sports being the coach of the team. Whatever is the reason, then the Trinbago Knight Riders get the Trinbago Knight Riders get Shakonia medal goal, right? I am assuming that this is in ranked order from Order of the Republic come down, right? So the Shakonia medal goes to Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders, who's not owned. It's not a thing that we own. I think Venky's or whoever it is own that. We don't. That is not our team that we give them. But Modi get what so. Moving further afield, the Shakonia medal silver. The great Kenny Phillips. Corie Shepherd podcast alumni, Kenny Phillips, producer, arranger, engineer, broadcaster, media executive, arts and culture. Kenny, they forget to put guitarist. You had to put that, you had to correct them. You was part of the administration now, Kenny. Congratulations to Kenny Phillips on the Shakonia Medal Silver, as well as being the head of the board, chairman of the board of Napa, you know what I mean? I feel good. Now again, I just want to ask for a minute, right? A little vexed with me. Because I'm very happy that Kenny get awarded the Shakonia Medal Silver. But the Trinidad Night Riders, you want to argue with me that in terms of contribution to society and what they mean, you want to argue with me that the contributions of the Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders, a team that we do not own, in a space where I saw somebody writing about West Indies cricket recently. I wish I could give them credit, but I can't remember who it is right now. And a lot of the people who know West Indies cricket well are saying that the CPL is part of the reason that West Indies cricket is crumbling. And why? Who we played the other day? I think we play I think we play Mauritius. Who the hell is the country? Somebody who don't play no Hong Kong. Who we play the other day? I think it's Nepal. And them fellas make 100 and something runs in a T20. The part of the game that we supposed to be the best at, we know West Indians claiming that we're the best at T20 and thing. Also the version of cricket that the Tobago Night Riders play. The Shakonia gold medal holding Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders play. And we can make 100 runs against what the country name again? Chile? Some little side who don't play no cricket at all. We can't beat them. And a lot of people pointing to CPL cricket and the T20 cricket loves so much being what is called, like, having a deleterious effect on West Indies cricket. But that team in that league that we also don't own is a Shakonia gold medal holder when Kenny Phillips is a Shakonia silver medal. So the contribution is less. All right. Ernest Che Rodriguez, filmmaker, director, producer. The contribution to the country by Che Rodriguez is less than the contribution of the Trinidad. All right, okay. Ivan Tulsi, journalist on film and media and so on, and name you all know. Congratulations to them all. Hummingbird Medal Gold, Garfield Rash Shorty I Blackman, posthumously arts and culture. Something I feel proud and happy about. Garfield Rash Shorty I Blackman, one of my favorite soca. I think he's one of the people who say what a big contributor to making a soca. He's saying he's the man who makes soca. I can't remember who exactly Rash Shorty is, you know? But if you make the thing, and you at the start of it, right? I will talk about it quick in my Scorch 101 conversation. But if you at the start of it, and then you created the thing, and now the thing is one of the things that we're known for best globally. You don't qualify for all the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, boy. You all right, all right, let me relax. Maybe I just don't understand. Leon Smooth Edwards, professor in practice of music, steel pan arranger, and arts and culture. They forget to put educator, they forget to put leader, community leader, all them things, but all right. If you don't know who Leon Smooth Edwards is, right? I have an episode coming up where I didn't get to talk to him yet. I'm hoping somebody please ask Smooth if he could come on, please. I want to tell you some of the things that Smooth do. Smooth was a ranger for All Stars for many, many years, right? Two different whole eras of All Stars and them things. So, you see the pan arrangement of Woman on the Bass that win Panorama, I believe, is in 80. That people love to, you know, when Fed done here, you hear that we're living today from that song was from 1917. That song was about 1979 and released in 1980. Song by Scrunto. That All Stars playing was arranged by Leon Smooth Edwards. The man who come up with that, right? That's Leon Smooth Edwards. He write that down on a piece of paper. I don't know that if I was doing an award ceremony, I don't want to compare, trying my best. But if I do an award ceremony, I will say, that man like he bad boy. Well, you know what else that man make? Ba-da-bam, ba-da-bam, ba-ba-ba, ba-da-da-da. So that man, the next year after that, I want to say is 81 do Unknown Band. The song by Super Blue, again, winning by All Stars. And have one of the most iconic pieces of music in the history of Panorama. That's Leon Smooth Edwards. Same fellow. Leon Smooth Edwards is his name. I'm sure. Same man. 83. A song by Kitchener named Heat. I don't know if it's one of Kitchener's most popular songs. I don't know if you could argue that. But I could say that if you go back to YouTube and try and watch the performance by Trinidad and Tobago All Stars, what it was then, Catelli or Massey? When you look at All Stars and their performance of that band, I have an episode coming up talking to one of the men who was on the stage in that Heat performance playing. And the stories behind that are amazing. I hope you enjoy it when it come out, right? But smooth. All you know, Corie Tabanka. Again, some of the most iconic pieces of music that you ever hear in Panorama, whether they win or whether they didn't win, was done by the great Dr. Leon Smooth Edwards. But okay, all right, let me get through all because my time running short. Patricia Stallmeyer, co-founder of Vita's House Hospice Community Service, Drupati Ramgunai Prasad, entertainer, arts and culture, Anil Beam, I remember Anil Beam, arts and culture, Alhaj Iman Ahmad Ali Aziz Imam. That's a lot, but culture. Humber Medal Silver. Only go and Google it, man. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody and them here, but it's time. Time is what against me. But I want to collectively congratulate all the people who would have won national awards. I want to congratulate the government of Trinidad and Tobago for having the national awards and not cancelling it. I suppose whatever threat they had was it died down and so on. But for the independence season, I must play one for the independence, right? While we playing tune for Mama Doreen and for Auntie Irma, we have Auntie Merle to sort out too, you know.
People only talking, but they really don't know what's the proper meaning for Trinidad and Tobago. Cipriani start the ball rolling, now the doctor doing the bowling. So that we help Uncle Eric to perform a real hat trick because this is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let we put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll live independently. "31st of August, the year 1962, will go down in history for every one of you. Forget racialism and nationalism, get discipline, production, and tolerance. Guide us to independence because it is your land, just as well as my land. This is your place, and also it's my place. So let we put our heads together and live like one happy family. Democratically, educationally, we'll live independently."
Oh, it's a man who say who is this song. I'll tell you a little bit about this song. That's a man by the name of Lord Brian, and the name of the Calypso is Independence Calypso, right? Look for it on YouTube if you're here just now, but look for it on YouTube and listen to the whole thing too. I had the pleasure of being a part of the Scorch 101 contribution. They done fire me already. I went one meeting and I called back. Because my whole purpose, if you all remember, Scorch made a list of the top 101 soca of all time. Hoppy and them called me in, they say, boy, come in, we need your contribution. So the panel are looking at is people like, who I have no right to be among, people like David Wales, people like Carl Beaver Henderson, people like Nigel Campbell, Private Ryan Hoppy, DJ Gel, Casey Phillips. Who else am missing? a panel of people who decided on, well, what we call now redo of the 101 greatest soca of all time, right? I want to tell you what was the top 10 last year. Number 10 was Hot 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 by Arrow, 9 Super Blue Get Something and Wave, 8 Differentology by Bungie, Tempted to Touch by Rupee, Togetherness, Alison Hines, Family by Marshall, Bungie, and Skinny. If I had one that I disagree with is Family. I just don't like the song. Palance by JW and Blaze. Your top 3 is number 3, Rupee, Jump, Kevin Little, Turn Me On, and number 1, It's Carnival by Marshall Montano and Destro. No, I will admit this because I talked about shit about this last year. I was like, all right, what kind of list is this? But having gone through or sat through the list of songs, I had to, let me say that I understand a little better how they come up with the 101 list, and I disagree a lot less. The best way to get a man to agree with you is make a man part of the process and bring him in on it, because all of a sudden the man agree. I'm bored, I agree. You know what I mean? When you're talking from the outside, everything easy. But I'll tell you what they use to come up with the thing. What's the criteria, right? It's long, but bear with me. So, cultural impact. Songs that have become anthems during the carnival season or that represent iconic moments in social history often earn higher spots. So when they look at cultural impact, they're looking at what did this song do. If I had to advise them, I would say the system works. I would change slightly what some of the definitions are, because cultural impact for me has to do with how this song impacted just the carnival culture, but the culture as a whole. So I know Brownies is a calypso, right? But when I look at cultural impact, if I had to judge the top 100 calypsos of all time, which I may do, if I find the right panel of people, I'll do it. And the truth is that David Wayers, Carl Beaver Henderson, Martin Raymond as examples, or Nigel Campbell, they would be excellent contributors to a list like that. Them fellas know it. They were there for some of it. They created some of it. They commented on some of it, So a calypso like Brino would have been important to me in terms of cultural impact, because in 1962, when there was a calypso competition about independence, that is the man who won the competition. At 25 years old, I want to say that too. He was 25 years old when he won the competition, because we have a way, and I realized it in that room. Younger people have a way of talking and thinking about Kaiso and Calypso and soca. Like the man was old so they say old Kaiso. Like if the man was old when he did it, this man was 25. This man's a youth. And youthful music is what he was making, right? It's not to say that it's songing like an old now, but it was youthful music the man making, and be the competition, beat big people in the competition, right? So when I say cultural impact, that is what I mean. I mean, hey, that song impact the culture in a major way, and it has to be part of the discussion. So when I go in the room, I really go in with one intention, and I was like, brother, how will you end up at a list here without nothing from Shorty? Because Shorty, as the creator of it, if you name in the top 101 of something, the creator of it has to be in it. And I'm hearing Lou Lyons saying, or Lord Nelson talking about him also being one of the creators, or many creators, right? So that we're not going back to, in Shorty wise words, we don't want to push the creator out, right? But the truth is, many people will contribute, but Nelson has Disco Daddy on the list. So I went there really trying to tell them, man, it's a two tune you can't leave out. You can't leave out Oom Shanti, and you can't leave out Endless Vibration. Because Endless Vibration change everything at the time. And you have to respect what those songs did. So my issue is that I'm looking at it from the standpoint of cultural impact and looking at that. But because of the way the criteria is set up, it's set up in a way that people like Shorty will never be on the list. People like Sparrow, they're just never going to be on the list. That's just what it is. Is the criteria of versatility. Some songs fit perfectly both into local events and international Caribbean music festival, which speak to universal appeal. So if I get Shorty at 10 on cultural impact for Endless Vibrations, when it comes to versatility and I look at if it fits into international and Caribbean carnival music festivals, then the answer is no. It will be one or two. So all those types of songs will get pushed off the list. What I can tell you is that a couple takeaways real quick. a lot of DJs contributing to the list. So I think that I was right last year in saying that a lot of the list comes from what is crowd reaction. All one could say all that about the criteria is cultural impact, versatility, influence on the genre, music production, chart performance, awards and recognition, popularity, danceability, relevance, lyrical content. So the criteria themselves aren't bad. But, and again, I'm trying to tell them it have some things I shouldn't vote on. Because when it comes to chart performance, me don't know how no song chart. So when I tell him, like, I was trying to kind of default into Private Ryan, he seemed to know a lot about soca charts and things. I was like, brother, that song chart? He's like, yeah, that was high on the charts. That's the only charts for. He's pay attention to that. Why would I argue with him about that? So I say, Ryan, your vote is mine. When it comes to chart performance, I default in my thing to you because I said, I can't abstain. Music production. What the hell are you giving a score for? And I want to say not just me, several people around the table. What you giving a score for if Carl Henderson is there? Carl Henderson is telling us that Party by Marshall Montano is a almost perfect production. When he said that, I just say, well, all right, cool. What is the point of me judging that with my layman ears and my layman? I can mix an episode good. So the blasted thing and go cut off all the thing when you're listening to the thing. All my episode, people sound like a robot. I go tell Carl what to say. Google who's Carl Beaver Henderson if you don't know, right? But that's what the point of this program is. You have to let Carl decide on what's production. Let him rank that by himself. And we could argue with it and think from that standpoint, but the ranking can't be far from what Carl. If Carl say Party is a 9 out of 10, is a 9. What is we really arguing? You're bringing experts in the room and then you're bringing amateurs like myself to think. But again, what the other takeaway is that you see young people control the world. And then what them say is what when them say it is. And that's what it will always be. You see, youth, because even Private Ryan, I come out there with a lot of respect for him coming out of it in terms of his knowledge of the industry, his knowledge of his craft and so on. But one of the things he was saying is he can't judge the impact of Soca Baptist. He said, boy, me ain't born, me ain't know it's Soca Baptist. Boy, I see how people post a video with them youth men listening to some old Super Blue. And them watching that, like, this is what they are like. You know, the youth is youth, you know what I mean? Youth is youth. I don't let youths be youths and let them enjoy their life. I have a few more tunes to play now. As I bring up Endless Vibration, I just want to give you a slice of it so you understand how bad it is, right?
Change the accent of carnival to a groovy bacchanal, wailing, expressing the old feeling. Do needs changing. Wake up, people, examine your minds. Get with it. The change of the times. It's a new generation. Endless vibrations. Right on. Right on, right on, right on. Le, 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 le. Hit me horns. Come, baby, oh, baby.
That was my only purpose of going to meeting to get a song on the list. I want you to know in advance that I failed, right? If the list doesn't come up every time, I failed miserably, you know what I mean? I understand what them fellas list is and it was what it is. Maybe, if I get the right group of people together and I feel like I could get the criteria right, I really want to do a song. I don't know if I had the stamina for 100, you know. But if I find the right system and I could do the top 100 Kaiso or Calypso of all time and do the top 100 soca all time, Scorch on the list, maybe we should do a list too. Another song by Shorty that was telling them again, influential and important in terms of what soca is and the structure and the makeup. Shorty so bad, he started the song on a 7th, you know, in Endless Vibration. I love it. But when you look at Oom Shanti, and I did see Marge Blackman, something I wanted to shed light on. If you go on Marge Blackman Instagram, you will see it, where they're talking about 25 years ago, an Indian artist who Shorty himself said came to Trinidad, hear Oom Shanti, went back and make a version of it. And I don't think it had much more things you could call copyright infringement more than that. That is copyright infringement. If you had to write a book on what copyright infringement is, that would be on the cover of the book. And up to today, the Blackman family, well, Shorty himself and the Blackman family was never compensated for what is a complete lifting of Oom Shanti, which will sell, I believe, is millions of records, right? I don't want to say, the number I have in my mind is 25, but I don't want to get it wrong. And it's a complete hijack. It would be great if that money could come into our society in US too, right? Let go up on the Blackman Ranch, you know? But I want to play a slice of that for you too. You know, time is what making my pull-up song. The name of the song is Oom Shanti by Shorty. Bad piece of music. But I sit down in that room there and I myself had to say, well, boy, if them fellas and them going a soca brainwash and pour Oom Shanti home, they might get some bottle inside. Yes, them fellas and them young people want to hear young people music. But the point, and I just want to take a quick minute to say salute to Stacey Sobers and the team for putting together what was an amazing show, Crackers and Cheese. I ain't missing that again in this life, you know. I mean, bad show. Freetongue, Duran Stewart, Stacey Sobers, Lady Adana, Tazia O'Connor, who are missing a bad show they put together. And hosted by Omari Ashby, who I appreciate a shout out from this area. I want to disappear when he started that, you know, but I appreciate the shout out from the stage and the call for people to take in the podcast. But Stacey and they did perform that Oom Shanti and I mean, she's a performer and a half, so tear down the place, right? Again, it has some tune before I run out of here that I want to make sure that I play for Mama Doreen. You know, I understand that, and when you talk about youthfulness and living to 98 years young, you had to respect somebody. When we going up there to play tune, right? We I say no with daddy, I'm trying to figure out what we go play, what we go do, you know what I mean? I know we go play a Gina and Dinah, she'd like that and thing. When we ask everybody, what is Mama Doreen's favorite song so we could play it? Of course, you know we ain't know it, right? Because we, as was proven in the Scorch meeting, me ain't know a song past 1985. I don't know one. But when they ask you what's your favorite song, you know what they say?
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now. With me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 Now is the time for it to jam on somebody. Hand up in the air.
Listen, that is the way it's composed tune. It's about 101 greatest soca of all time. Them kind of tune can be over listen. Imagine Mama Doreen asking for DNA. Me can't remember how the song start. I can't remember that. All I know is a little chukunku chukuchung, you know. If the song ain't going so, me too know it. Couple songs I want to play again for a couple people after salute to the great Valerie, who they say was the original Sugar Boom Boom, the song about which flag woman is written, Valerie Green, mother great Colonel Roberts, who would have passed away, mother of Ian Alvarez, who would have passed away, alongside Mama Doreen and Auntie Irma. Sterling Henderson is a man we lost this week, a voice, an iconic voice that will remain with us, a beacon of vocal professionalism. It is shame to talk about broadcaster when you hear the way these men speak and carry themselves and the commitment they have to deliver the news and keep us informed. In an era and a time where we're constantly talking about the fact that traditional media dead and radio dead, and we still have some people who stand on a level of professionalism and a level of commitment to their craft that is admirable. And we lost the great Sterling Henderson this week. So I'm wrapping up this episode with two tunes, you know. Two tunes were dedicated to a bunch of people who would have been gone. And we made an attempt to sing this in the repass, but it didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Every year somebody dear give us cause to shed a tear and mourn, for they are gone. Now all that's left is a faint memory based on the theme of a strange melody. Still, we must think of them and recall their image with pride, telling people from deep inside, this is dedicated to those who died. But in it, I'll always remember jumping when a big band passed, playing mass. Sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for class. But from Innis, wherever you are, compare just for you. Are we gonna give them real thunder this year? Everyone I know, some good day will have to go right back from where they came. But good or bad, we must try all the same, not to be too sad or heap scorn on their name. And every girl and boy who are sharing my sympathy, I must tell you this song is just dedicated to memories. George Bailey, I'll always remember jumping when a big band passed, playing big mass. Sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for class. George Bailey, wherever you are, brother, just for you. And we gonna give them real thunder this year. How many known a friend, playing mass down to the end, who will never again. And though we play now and then, thoughts will stray to that dear one who has since passed away. So for this carnival, while you're jumping up, take a break. Try and take in this song I made to remember for old time's sake. Rudolph Charles, I'll always remember jumping when the steel band passed, playing mass. Sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for class. Yeah, Rudy, wherever you are, come back just for you. Are we gonna get them real thunder this year?
If it have a perfect Kaiso, if it ever had a put the arrangement on them guys, you know what I mean? But again, and you know the last name he called is Rudolph Charles. This week would have been the birthday of Charlo would have gone this week, right? Man with the hammer is calling, remember him? Man with the hammer? Where you go? I would like to close the episode on this. Again, Mama Doreen, I did what you said. I came and I talked about the independence thing. I gave my opinion. I hope I'm back in your good books as a podcaster. I hope I'm maintaining your high standard, and you're very correct that as a podcaster, you had to come and talk about these things. You're right. I appreciate that. And it's the last lesson you give among many others before you leave. And your funeral, I want to tell you, left me with a lesson as well. When I saw what happened in that funeral, it made me in the moment realize that the most you could do in this life, we don't know how much time we have. How are you going to know if you reach 98? How are you going to know if you know yourself when you reach 98? Because I don't tell my little brother, it's a mash accord for me, you know. If I go in the hospital and you see me thing and me and no chance to come out, just stand up on an oxygen thing, send me home, you know what I mean? If she says her favorite song is DNA, it's in my DNA too. I want home, let me go. I don't want to think, let me head out. But to live your life in a way that you're honored in death, the way that she is honored, is a lesson that I learned from her even while her eyes was closed. Is the most we could ever hope for to impact so much people that at 98, people make it their duty, including myself, to be present for a funeral like that from beginning to end. I think is important. It's a lesson that I take in terms of what we can do, what we have available to us in the little. We don't know how much of them 24 hours we have, but we have the one we in now. And the most we could hope to do is to live life in a way that we could walk out of here being honored and being cherished in the way Mama Doreen was cherished. So the last tune in this episode, I want to leave lively catered to the great Mama Doreen.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, now let me say this clear. I'm gonna state my case, of which I am certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this. May I say I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I thought I had to do, and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I can chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, standing tall. I did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and I've cried. I had my fill, I even had my share of losing. And now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? Tell me, what has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took all the blows and did it my way.
Hey, if you listen all the way to the end and you didn't subscribe on no kind of platform at all, you're wicked in real life. But I appreciate you listening, and I'll see you next week for more conversations around our culture and our people.